when the Soviet Union fell, I remember this. I totally remember this. When the Soviet Union, before the Soviet Union fell, there used to be a commercial. You know how feed the children, give us five, $1 a day, so we can feed the children. There used to be a TV show. I'm sorry, a commercial on TV that was give us $1 a day so we can buy Bibles so we can smuggle them into the Soviet Union, right? And it was going on. I remember this as a kid. It used to be on the on my TV channels all the time, where they wanted you to contribute so they could smuggle Bibles into the Soviet Union. So this was still a Soviet Union, and then the Soviet Union collapsed, right? So freedom of religion, whatever. They still were having those commercials on TV, like they were still. The narrative never changed because it was a hustle for them. It was a way they were probably making a living by making money off people sending them money so they can send Bibles into the Soviet Union. You know, even though the Soviet Union
It
collapsed,
seems like they came back after I don't know how long, 75 years, however long the Soviet Union was around. It seemed like they came back that they're mostly Christian, even though they had that long period of generations of, officially the only thing approved is atheism.
Yeah, there was I remember this because I'm Greek Orthodox, so any sort of Orthodox news I would watch. In the 1980s.
I mean, I'm sure they still have atheists there. I think it is predominantly Christian now.
It is. It's Russian Orthodox, which is the same religion as Greek Orthodox. In other words, and that's not saying anything like it's a different branch of Orthodoxy. It's the exact same branch. I can go into a Russian church and receive communion.
It's just it's a different country.
It's a different country, right? They have a different language for their. Unlike the Catholics, for the longest time, the Catholics used to push this idea that the liturgy has to be in Latin, even though your country.
Well, that's because Jesus spoke in Latin.
Right. But the Greek church never had that idea.
Well, some of the Bible was originally in Greek.
Yeah. Well, the Greek Orthodox Church never developed an ideology that said you have to preach the Bible in Greek. Like that's why the Cyrillic alphabet exists, because they created an alphabet so they could translate the Bible so the Slavs can read it, in their own language, which is something the Latin side of the church never did. They never wanted to. You would have to do. It was actually a heretical act to translate the Bible from Latin into your vernacular language, kind of thing. So one of the arguments of Protestantism is, Luther translated the Bible into German, and he actually did a good translation of it. It was actually it was good in terms of as a literary language. It was beautiful to read. Like he translated into good German. Like he was a skilled writer. And Greeks did that too. The Saint Cyril and Methodius, they were two brothers who were priests, and they were trying to convert the Slavs, and the emperor said, go convert the Slavs, and there was no restriction on how to do that in terms of language. So instead of preaching Greek to them, trying to force them to become Greek, they said, well, we'll translate it into your own language. So that's why we say Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, but it's the same language. I remember this episode specifically in the 1980s, maybe in the latter part of the 1980s. Remember Ted Koppel's show Nightline, the original Nightline? He had it was a show about religion in the Soviet Union, and I remember this specifically because he's interviewing this Russian, the Soviet. Russian isn't accurate.
Well, Soviet. If they're in Russia, they're still Russian, but that's not technically the country.
Right. He was a Soviet.
But Russians still existed though.
Yeah. What I meant to say, he was a Soviet official. He wasn't a Russian. He was a Soviet. Okay. He was a Soviet official. And Ted Koppel is and he's an atheist, and he's there to argue religion isn't a big deal here. Because remember, it wasn't a case. They weren't even trying to hide the fact that they were oppressing Christians. They were out and out atheists, and they were pushing the idea that atheism is the best way, and religion is a horrible idea. So Ted Koppel asked him, I've seen the footage of our crew, and we're seeing a lot of old ladies and a lot of people in your church worshiping. And the Soviet official's response was, if you look at the footage, they're old women and old women. They, it's an old religion. the young people don't like a God. They don't believe God. They're atheists. Then Ted Koppel who's I think Jewish, he had a good line about that. He says, if the case is that only the old people are going into the church to worship under your atheist regime, they would have died off a long time ago. So there must be a
Yeah, I
substrata.
know. There's because it was generations.
Right. There's got to be a substrata of the Russian people that are still believers and they don't say anything because you're oppressive fucking communists. And the other guy didn't have any. I don't remember the response. I was a fucking kid, but I remember like he was angry. But so that's sort of the last time you ever had a society where religion was considered evil until modern day America, where suddenly atheists are everywhere. And I'm a sort of self-professed atheist. I'm really not. I'm sort of agnostic. I'm not anti-religion, even though if I'm pro not believing in a spirit world, that doesn't mean I'm hateful against Christianity or any other religion. I'm very indebted to Christianity. I love the religion. I think it's a great philosophy. I don't think you have to believe in all the religious spiritual elements, but who am I to say it's not real?
I think
Maybe
you
it
can
is.
believe whatever you want, but
Yeah.
I don't like it when people. I mean, it's fine. Like George Carlin had his jokes about like you believe in an invisible man in the sky. I think that's fine for him to say that. That's what he believed. But the people that seriously like bash, especially Christianity, look at the type of values that they promote.
Right.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly.
That there's an agenda behind it.
Well, one of the things we were talking about off the air Seinfeld episode where one of the characters, Putty or Tuddy, I forget the fuck his name. He's dating Elaine, and he's supposed to be like a religious Christian, and he tells Elaine, "You're the one who's going to hell, right?" And Elaine is like, "Do you love me?" And he goes, "Yeah." Well, why are you, but you believe I'm going to go to hell? And he goes, "Yeah, that's right." And he goes, "Are you trying to? Why don't you try to convert me?" She's like an atheist. He says, "I don't want to." So she got upset that he wasn't trying to save her soul, kind of thing. I think there's a lot of like liberals are like that weird in a weird way too.